The streets are talking. If you watched episode 1 and think you already understand what the STL EBT versus 600 conflict was, the geography, the origins, the names that started it, episode 2 is going to change what you thought you knew. Because episode 1 built the foundation. It laid out how Jaro City formed from grief, how MOB operated out of 59th and Michigan, how the STL EBT alliance became the coalition that gave 600 and O Block the most sustained pressure they ever faced from a single organized front. And it documented the deaths that made those names permanent in the record of Chicago's drill era. D-Thang, Lil Steve, Baldy, Tutu's story, and the human cost that accumulated on both sides through the conflict's earliest phases. But episode 1 was, by necessity, foundational. It had to establish the map before it could trace the movement on that map. Episode 2 doesn't need to establish anything. Episode 2 goes inside. This episode belongs to the STL, Jaro, FBG side of this war, not as a collection of incident reports or body counts presented with the cool detachment of a scoreboard, but as the story of specific people, specific human beings with specific histories, specific losses, specific capabilities, and specific decisions that shaped the direction of one of the most consequential conflicts in Chicago's South Side drill era. The names on this side of the conflict have been mentioned in passing, in documentaries, in comment sections, in the broader community conversation around this beef. What they have not received is the kind of full forensic treatment that honors the complexity of who they actually were and what they actually represented, until now. This is STL EBT versus 600 Episode 2, The Alliance Strikes Back. The architecture of an alliance, how 3 crews became one force. The coalition that gave 600 and O Block their most sustained problems during this conflict is not properly understood if it is treated as a single crew with a unified command structure. It was not. What it was, what made it simultaneously more formidable and more complicated than any single crew could have been, was a convergence of 3 distinct formations that each brought their own history, their own geography, their own internal culture, and their own specific grievances against the 600 orbit into a shared operational posture. Jaro City, STL EBT, MOB. 3 separate origins, 3 separate sets of founding losses, 3 separate sets of individuals whose personalities and capabilities shaped what each crew was capable of, but aligned by the mid-2011 period in a functional coalition that operated against 600 and O Block from multiple directions simultaneously, a coordinated geographic pressure that any single crew operating alone would have been incapable of generating.
But then we started losing niggas, folks. It cracked everything, G. Like, it just, you had guys, like, deaths do more than traumatize you in those type of ways. Like, you have guys who started making business decisions, folks. Like imagine you a 13, 14-year-old little boy, niggas start dying. Now 90% of the people you calling the big guys, the ones who's supposed to be in charge of supplying pipes or making sure y'all got the means to war, they start leaving y'all, folks. Like, this is why I hold Trigger on the highest regard that I can in life, G, because on my son's life, G, we had nobody. We ain't had nothing, for. I swear to God, we ain't have a nigga to stand on that block with us that was we considered a big homie. On Steve, they all got gone. Everybody for different reasons. When folks them started dying, niggas started going to Ohio, setting up drug empires and shit. Niggas started getting jobs at Family Dollar. Niggas started moving and driving trucks. Man, on Steve, they left us, boy. And then I'm out there in Joliet. I can't even help my niggas, folks. On Steve, I'm coming back every weekend or every other weekend, but I'm only here for the weekend. For shit going on Monday through Friday, I'm not here for folks now. So Trigger holding this shit down, and then Trigger go get booked, folks. You gotta remember that. Trigger get booked in the midst of all of this, folks. We needed Trigger, folk, and Trigger got booked, and we didn't see folks. On Steve, we had Trigger, folk, the last nigga, folk. And then folks got bumped for that shit, folk, on Steve, folk. It was over with, folk. We got shorties. We had to grow up fast. We had to become ruthless on Steve, folk. Because after folks, it wasn't no big homies. On Steve, we was the big homies. We was 14, 15-year-old, 16-year-old big homies, folk. And that's just what it was, folks, on Steve, folks.
What is STL like now, currently?
Man, dry as hell. Yo, you want to see nothing out that bitch. Nothing. That shit looks spooky as. Cause it's like when I come back and I look around like, damn, bro. I feel like the last man standing around that bitch. Cause I could usually go on the next block, go to bro crib, knock on the door. What's up? What you want? Come outside. What the f you doing, man? We ain't in the house, bro. Like, like, ain't nobody to go to. Ain't no crib, nothing. Like, you just basically out that bitch by yourself. Like, I'm like, damn, where these niggas hiding at? Like, where the homies go? Like, damn, everybody died? Like, what the f?
We up on that, can't no outspeak on shit they did to us that we ain't gon' do back. Tad, they know we up on that, can't no outspeak on shit they did to us that we ain't go do back. I went no T to run them bands up, should've known I was coming back. Can't leave my homie, I ain't y'all rappers, send a shot, we blicking back.
Closed casket his ass, you hear me?
Man, what we
His
talking
tooth
about?
flew out his mouth, gang.
Your homie got passed up. What we talking about?
Hey, J Money tooth flew out on folks now.
Man, two guys left in the alley.
Shit flew out
Two guys left on the bus stop. What are we talking about?
That's not y'all words.
What are we talking about?
Why they stay claiming?
What are we talking about? Jarvis got killed in a restaurant. What are we talking about? What are we talking
Jarvis ain't get killed in no fucking restaurant, dummy.
This nigga stay talking about Tutu. That's T. Man, shut up.
Said fuck Duck. Why is you telling niggas I said fuck Duck, bro? I don't got nothing against him. Nothing. Y'all got the numbers. I don't give a fuck about nobody riding with me. I'm cool about myself. I'm a one-man band, G. It's a lot of backdoor clown shit through that bitch anyway. Ain't no nigga finna do me like that, G. Y'all can have the numbers. Don't lay on my name, though, G. I said fuck STL. I said fuck Boss Trill. And I said fuck Dutch. Why? Because they said fuck my daughter. And I don't give a fuck who gives. Look, man, I don't care who feel no type of way. You bitch-ass niggas disrespect my daughter. That's what it is. I never not once said fuck nothing about Duck, shorty. On my mama. So stop lying on my name, you bitch-ass niggas. Duck was my boy. He was misled, though.
Understanding why this coalition formed requires understanding what each component brought to it and what each component had already lost before the coalition was fully operational. Jaro City's founding grief was the oldest. It reached back to 2005, to the murder of Jarvis J. Smith, the individual whose name the crew carried forward as both identity and obligation. Everything Jaro City did from 2005 onward was shaped by that foundational loss. The crew that crystallized around Jarvis's memory carried that grief as a permanent motivating force, not as a political position or an organizational mandate, but as the kind of personal, irreversible loss that produces the specific quality of commitment that no external pressure can dissolve. The founder and operational center of 600 allegedly killed Dalvin, a Jaro member, in September 2007, and then Hottie, another Jaro member, in September 2008. The pre-existing grief within Jaro City doubled and then redoubled. The crew was not simply fighting for territory, it was fighting for the accumulated weight of multiple losses that it held D-Thang specifically, and 600 broadly, responsible for producing. That specificity of grievance, the ability to name the person responsible for the losses driving the conflict, is one of the most powerful motivating forces in sustained urban conflict. Abstract enemies can be avoided, negotiated with, or simply outlasted. Named, specific enemies who have killed specific people that you loved are a different category of obligation entirely. Jaro City's grievances against D-Thang specifically, and against 600 broadly, were of that second, inescapable category. MOB arrived at the coalition from a different geographic and organizational position. Operating out of 59th Street and Michigan Avenue, the specific block that would become one of the most consequential addresses in this entire conflict's geography.
Bigger than a mob, and if you fuck with us, you gon' get your ass a bond. I just beat another case, but I ain't get no fucking bond. I just paid for the lawyer, then he do his fucking job. Then all we knew is kill. He say that he on my heels, I pop him, then I pop a pill. In this field, we play for real. I just grab the biggest steel. Do it here, yeah, fuck a drill.
Do it here, yeah, fuck a drill.
Block with AIP, I'm going up shopping. Flip a nigga on this shit, I call that rock bottom. Had to blow the trans, I'm getting home, that's the only option.
Cut the fans watching. Fuck LA, man. Fuck LA, man. Fuck Mac. Big shit funny, get your ass, J Money will get Mac. Yo, me. Squash it, man. No, you rock shit, man.
And Machiavelli, which is McAdoo from 600. I just want to tell y'all something about what came between them two. It's the streets. The streets came between Scrap and McAdoo from 600. And I just want to tell y'all a little story that I got about that. Now the story I got about that is I know they was best friends. Like I said, McAdoo, which is Machiavelli, stayed at my crib, spent the night at my crib, slept in my crib, ate in my crib. That was Brian's best friend. Brian did the same thing at his crib. Brian went down there, Brian stayed at his crib, and this and that. But the streets messed him up. The streets came between them. When I say the streets came between them, 600, MOB. They was close. They hung together every day. Okay? Now what I'm saying is, McAdoo used to be with Brian. Brian used to be with McAdoo. They go to parties together.
Folks, them all in the wig. All in the wig. Folks, them all in the wig. Fuck the wig. Folks, them all in that motherfucker. We in the wig. On the wig. On the wig. Fuck the wig. Fuck them wise, man. We out here like Jaro say STL, MOB, we out here pulling in this shit. Hey, man, ain't shit, man. Like that, run, man. Wait, man. BD's now 75, man. I'm fine while we out here. Ain't nothing bigger than a bomb, man. Hey, but we down here. Hey, y'all know 7 Squad? Y'all know 7 Squad? Man, tell their ass, fuck 7 Squad, fuck Blood Money, fuck LA, fuck Steve. Tell their ass all that here, we on they block. We catch it in their ass, it's cracking. You hear me?
MOB, Mind on Business, brought a specific combination of neighborhood solidarity, organizational connection to the broader GD-affiliated landscape, and individual member capability that made them an effective allied force, rather than simply additional numbers. MOB's own founding grievances, as documented in Episode 1, included the September 2007 killing of Junbug by Dada from Front Street, an incident that the community's record identifies as one of the moments that ensured the war between the broader alliance and 600 would never fully sleep. By the time MOB's most consequential members were operating at full capacity in 2011, the crew had accumulated its own ledger of grievances and its own set of relationships with the Jaro STL world that made genuine alliance natural rather than forced. STL EBT contributed the third geographic anchor to the coalition. Located in the St. Lawrence and Eberhart corridor, the specific territory that the STL and EBT designations referenced, this formation brought members who were among the most operationally effective anywhere in the South Side during the conflict's peak years. The alliance between STL and EBT was itself a coalition of adjacent formations unified by shared geography and shared adversaries, and it produced some of the most significant individual actors in this entire conflict's history. Together, these three formations created a strategic problem for 600 and O Block that no individual crew could have generated: the requirement to defend multiple geographic fronts simultaneously against adversaries who coordinated their pressure, communicated across their respective circles, and drew on each other's operational capacity when individual moments demanded it. What happened between 2011 and 2017 was the full deployment of that coordinated capacity against one of the most capable and committed crews Chicago's drill era produced. The outcome of that deployment, measured in the lives lost, the names that disappeared from the active roles of both sides, and the permanent marks left on the blocks where it all played out, is what this episode documents. Dome, the man who changed everything. Of all the individuals who operated on the STL, Jaro, FBG side of this conflict, no single person's single act carried more structural weight in the history of this war than what Christopher Hughes, known everywhere as Dome, did on September 13, 2011. The killing of Devin Howard, D. Thang, the founder and organizing force of 600 Block, was not simply the removal of one member from an opposing crew's roster. It was the removal of the person around whose leadership, judgment, and presence the entire 600 Block architecture had been constructed. Episode 1 documented D. Thang's centrality to 600's internal culture in detail. To understand the significance of what Dome did, you have to hold that centrality in mind and understand that eliminating the person who embodies a crew's culture is a qualitatively different act than eliminating a member. The context of how it happened carries its own weight. A peace treaty attempt had been circulating in the weeks preceding September 13th. A negotiation involving O Block, 600, STL, EBT, and Jaro City that some members of 600 genuinely believed might produce a temporary reduction in hostilities. The community's retrospective assessment, offered by people who understood the situation from inside it, is that this peace process created a specific vulnerability: the temporarily lowered vigilance that comes from believing some form of resolution might be possible. Whether the peace process was being used tactically by the Jaro side as a mechanism for lowering 600's defenses at a critical moment, or whether it was a genuine attempt that simply failed to prevent what happened, is one of the contested elements of this episode's history. What is not contested is the outcome. Dome encountered D. Thang and pursued him. The chase ended when D. Thang was caught. The shot that killed him entered from behind, and Dome reportedly stood over the moment with a declaration that every person on both sides of this conflict needed to hear clearly. This is for Hottie. 3 words. 3 words that closed the arc that Hottie's death in 2008 had opened.
You kind of blamed yourself a little bit. You were saying like about because you had your brother them up there. You kind of weighed on.
I feel like we was letting our guards down.
Yeah. So you knew Dome and all that because he said he was your age. Y'all went to school with them.
No, I just know him from the hood because we had all that shit going on before. You know what I'm saying? Other things got stats. Like, we was Brick City at first. They always been Jaro City from jobbers getting killed. So we always clashed. I think it started beefing over females.
Like everything.
It started over females.
I heard that's what the whole shit over, like everything that's
if you go to the root of the problem,
that's real.
With us, you go to the root of the problem is like parties and shit, beefing over females and shit.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? But I will say they licked the shot at us first. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think we even had it on the good at the time. They shot at us.
Yeah.
Damn.
And it was Twink and Dawn that did, like 007,
yeah,
man. The nigga that was on one knee in the port.
No, yeah, man.
Then so Twink and Dawn, like they
Twink and Dawn, they was their tag team. They was Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy.
Yeah, that's crazy. So okay,
what's going on, B? You know what I'm saying? But that's why we call it snake shit, bro. Is because first of all, Dawn, folk, he was just He was for them age. If they was supposed to honor it, they was.
He the one that him and Lo the one that.
I know.
They got convicted for the murder, right?
Yeah, but him and them is the one called it. Y'all called them and told them to get it going. So
I thought C Hood had something with the Peachtree, like bringing everybody.
He did. On BD, he did. He
was hustling together.
Yeah, C Hood was a part of that too.
That's what it's supposed to be about money. So when the Peachtree split came out, and that's the reason
why y'all making it hot. We trying to hustle.
No, that's the reason why when the shit happened is like they was the reason. I was the reason why they was coming on 61st because we was trapping out the courtway. Mm-hmm. So when the shit happened, it's like I felt the type way because like I had little brother uncomfortable to even come up here because it's supposed to be in the Peachtree. Mm-hmm. And I ain't gonna lie, I was making money, but it's still I was the reason why they was sliding up here. We was out here on 59. You know what I'm saying? Bro, they'll be like Lil D Bro, like man, we up here with Trigger. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of had got comfortable.
Yeah. Cause we ain't play that, bro. That shit after 61st, that shit is a death trap. Like ain't no gangways or cut unless you running on their side. We can't. Yeah, ain't no once you walk past that store, bro, your ass is stuck walking straight down the street, making my way downtown.
3 words that made the message of September 13th unambiguous to everyone who heard it. This was not a random encounter, not a crime of opportunity, not the impulsive outcome of an unexpected confrontation. It was the deliberate execution of a specific obligation that Jaro City had been carrying since the first significant loss that D Thang had allegedly put on their ledger. The legal consequence followed in time. Dome was convicted for D Thang's murder. He received a 20-year sentence. Christopher Hughes would spend 2 decades in Illinois correctional facilities as the legal system's accounting of what happened on September 13, 2011. But it was not the legal consequence that defined Dome's place in this conflict's history. It was the tattoo. The 600K tattoo that Dome reportedly acquired after D Thang's killing is one of the most discussed and most revealing details of this entire war's record. Not because tattooing is unusual in street culture, it is not, but because the specific content of this tattoo and the specific timing of its acquisition communicated something that went far beyond what any verbal statement could have accomplished. A tattoo is permanent. It is a declaration placed on the body itself, visible to anyone who sees the person wearing it, irreversible in the way that words spoken in heat are not. Dome chose to mark his skin with a direct reference to what he believed he had accomplished. He chose to make his accounting of September 13, 2011, his understanding of what that day meant and who had prevailed, into a permanent feature of his physical existence. That choice, made by a person who would shortly thereafter face the legal consequences of what that tattoo commemorated, tells you everything you need to know about where Dome's head was in the aftermath of D Thang's death. He was not looking for exits or attempting to create distance from what had happened. He was doubling down on it in the most permanent way available. The 600K tattoo became one of the most referenced details in the community discussion of this conflict, both on the STL Jaro side, where it represented the ultimate expression of commitment to the Hadi revenge obligation, and on the 600 side, where it became one of the most enduring symbols of the specific kind of disrespect that this war generated. Dome's incarceration removed him from the active conflict. 20 years is a generation. It is the timeline across which children grow to adulthood, across which neighborhoods transform, across which everything that defined a specific moment in a specific place changes beyond recognition. Whatever Dome entered custody intending, the person who would eventually emerge from that sentence would be returning to a world that bore little resemblance to the one he left on September 13, 2011. But his action, the specific, consequential act of September 13th, shaped the remaining years of this conflict in ways that outlasted his physical presence in it. D Thang's absence from 600's operational picture was felt across everything that followed, and the name Dome carried with it, in every subsequent discussion of this war, the weight of having made the single most impactful move the Jaro STL side ever made. Tu, the man who killed Jizzle and paid for it. Carlton Archer, known as Tu, occupies a specific and tragic position in the Jaro City chapter of this conflict. His story encapsulates one of the defining patterns of the war in its most compressed form. A person who accomplished a significant act on behalf of his crew, and who was himself removed by the opposing side's retaliation before the full consequences of his act could unfold. Tutu's killing of Jizzle, Carl Spencer, a Brick City 600 figure who had been present through multiple significant phases of the conflict's early escalation, occurred on September 26, 27, 2011, within weeks of D-Thang's murder and Lil Steve's death. The specific dynamics of that encounter, the exact circumstances of the confrontation, sit in the contested territory that most individual incident accounts occupy when they are reconstructed through community testimony rather than physical documentation. What is clear from the record is that Jizzle was killed in late September 2011. That Tutu's connection to that killing was identified and documented by the community with enough consistency to establish it as the prevailing understanding of what happened, and that the consequences for Tutu were specific and rapid. November 10th, 2011. The same night that the 600 side was responding to the accumulated losses of September and October, a coordinated retaliatory effort that produced multiple incidents in a single evening, Tutu was killed. The 600 side's action that night was not random, it was targeted. Tutu was on the list specifically because of Jizzle, and the precision of the response communicated clearly to everyone on the Jaro side that 600 was tracking its losses and had the intelligence and capacity to address them with specific, named accountability. The emotional impact of Tutu's death on the Jaro City community was genuine. Regardless of the conflict dynamics that had produced his death, Tutu was a person embedded in deep community relationships, a person who had grown up in the blocks around 62nd and St. Lawrence, whose presence was woven into the daily life of the people who shared those spaces with him. His removal from that community by targeted violence created the same kind of directional grief that every significant loss in this conflict generated. Within the Jaro orbit, the response to Tutu's killing took multiple forms simultaneously. The community's informal tribute, the memorial practices of naming corners, of social media posts carrying his image, of the specific rituals that Chicago's South Side communities have developed over generations for marking the loss of people who defined their blocks, was one layer. The operational response, the crew's assessment of how Tutu's death changed the balance sheet of the conflict and what was owed in answer, was a second parallel layer that operated with its own logic and its own timeline. What happened to Tutu is also significant for what it reveals about 600's operational intelligence during this period. The ability to identify Tutu as the person connected to Jizzle's death, to locate him, and to execute the response with the specificity and timing that November 10th represents. All of this reflects a level of situational awareness and operational capacity that the broader narrative of 600, as simply a target of the Alliance's attacks, frequently underemphasizes. Both sides in this conflict were highly capable. The Jaro STL side's most significant moments were not the product of facing a passive or disorganized opposing crew. They were accomplished against one of the most capable formations the South Side had produced during this era.
He the Wooski, hit a hop in this top. He ain't dropped, think he will smoke.
Look, you got a fit from the old man. Uh-oh.
You gonna look at Kyra right now, man.
I'm gonna go get some more.
This is my daughter right here. This is my daughter Kyra. This is my daughter. My daughter Kyra. This is my daughter now. See, kiss daughter now. My daughter Kyra. Hey Kyra, hey.
Oh, he's great.
Hey, look, man, I'm from the S, man. I'm from STL. Like, see the show my chest? I'm from them grave. We got like 6 dead homies. But, you know, we gonna keep letting food in them head everybody up, though. You know, they want to add everybody to this shit.
Band up or die broke, you dumb bitch.
You hear me? That everybody scared. Everybody scared. They said them twins out there. Dumbest.
Niggas talking all this money, ain't seen shit check, man. And this a little check, man.
TB? Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, TB was an interesting character. You know, I knew Terry Berry, like that, you know, that's
Terry, folks named Terry Berry.
Oh, okay.
Folks Terry Berry, bro.
Okay.
I knew Shorty from grammar school, A.O. Saxton. He was the nerd at our school. We used to play with Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
The internet don't say that about you.
Oh, folks great. A lot of people don't know a lot of shit about folks. Like, but them be the ones though.
Right.
Them be the ones come get you, Shorty. On B. That's why when like Brick died, TB wasn't himself no more. Shorty was like, if you would have thought him slip Lil Bro son. He's out here walking around with the Bible in his hand, talking to himself. It was a lot of shit going on. Lil Bro's like, they really thought they did something. They killed him, right? But y'all killed the motherfucker that wasn't even in his right mind. He really wasn't in his right mind. He really thought he was a kid all over again. Don't know.
Song with FBG Duck. He says, I think he said, "Get right while you die by yourself," something like that. You was getting some food. You know what I'm talking about in the song Thug Angels, okay? That happened right on the corner of y'all neighborhood.
I don't know if you ever seen the store, like the restaurant. It was a restaurant at the time. It's a store now. It's like on 63rd between Everhard and Vernon. So it's not like a corner, but it's like on the front street of the busy street, 63rd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the neighborhood.
A lot of shit happened in that neighborhood. I mean, a lot of shit happened in that neighborhood. It's different because like we own blocks and they like in the gay community.
Calling Chief keep my home, man. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. Hey, yeah, man. I ain't mean to hang up on you and shit. Say we ain't gonna give me tickets to one of your son's show or something. That little hot. I know that shocked the shit out you, man. Your little son blew up and shit. You would never guess that. Yeah. I done got me some famous pussy. How long you been fucking with me, man? 7 years, man. That sound about right. Fuck with your boy when you finish doing all that shit, man, alright?
Hey, little bitch. I mean, little B. No, folk, move that, folk. You getting off a lot of Kyrie. Hey, little bitch. I mean, little B. You want to talk stuff about that dead person? I'm finna put the camera on you.
Out of that. Fuck wrong with you, bitch. Here's Lil D goof ass.
Which Lil D?
From 600.
600. What deal is this?
I thought they ass was extinct on Tuka grave. That's why I'm talking about all this 600 shit. Rest in peace, my fucking boy Tutu, man. We don't want to talk. Happy birthday, broski.
Show the face right there.
Happy birthday, my nigga Tutu, man. We don't want to talk. Damn, I missed the fuck at you, boy. I love you, broski. Vote them great. My nigga Tutu, man. We don't want to talk. Y'all know who that is. Y'all know who that is. We don't want to talk. We get busy for him. RP my nigga Tutu, man. Happy birthday, broski. I love you, folks. Vote them great. Damn. Oh, I gotta do it for you, broski.
Man.
I love you, broski. You already know how I'm coming, man. On Super Great. Happy birthday, folks. I swear to God. We out here ganging for you. You already know how we coming. Oh, Cheeto. TP, shorty. Oh, Cheeto. Aight. TP, little hoe. Aight. Oh, Cheeto. We don't want to talk, bitch. Fuck wrong with y'all, man. Rest in peace, my nigga Tutu, man. Happy birthday, folks. Oh, Super Great, folks. My boy, folks. God damn, my boy, folks. Fuck you talking about? We don't want to talk. Real life gang members, yeah.
Instagram.
Gang members. Gang members only. Gang members only. Gang members only, bitch. We don't want to talk. Get your shit black gang, Tutu gang, bitch. We don't want to talk. Oh, Cheeto.
ECG, Lil J, man. STL, TBG, man. Tutu gang.
Man, fuck it is, man. Your boy Brick BT Press, man. You know, we about to drop this shit. We fuck niggas one time, man. Y'all is not about that, man. You ready, man? Let's get this shit poppin', man. We fuck niggas one time, man. You know what I'm saying? We gang bang. We do everything. We do whatever. We getting money. We do whatever, man. It's up 3:30 in the morning. Early, never late. Team, no sleep. We don't get none of that.
Police presence between Eberhard and Rhodes on 63rd. Patrol cars, blue lights flashing after a police-involved shooting.
He got shot 7 times on Rhodes, right there by the police.
Friends say 19-year-old Rasan Shah had just left them to get something to eat.
He was running through the alley with no gun or nothing, because he just left us. So we know he ain't had no gun. The police shot him unjustified. Too many times in his back. He ain't do nothing, man.
Chicago Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 7 spokesperson Pat Camden says Shaw was caught by police in the middle of a drug deal. They went after him. Camden says Shaw pointed a gun at police.
The officer defends himself, shoots the offender. We did recover a .40 caliber Glock with an extended clip.
Chaos erupts after the shooting. An angry mob gathers.
The rumor starts to spread that he didn't have a gun, the police shot him for no reason. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Or Millie?
Yeah, those my peeps for real. Like, before this shit went to like that can't get right situation, they was spreading rumors. I don't know if that's true or not, but like, yeah, that was my rappy. After KI, that was my rappy. So I was looking at that kind of like sideways, like, you know. But shit, Melly died. I ain't had nothing against Woo. You know what I'm saying? I had some feelings against Melly because that was my boy. So I'm like, that's how you gonna do this? And then they was saying that Dirk dropped the bag and did all this weird ass woo woo, and he collected. And I'm like, that's how I'm coming out this, the door open like that. But I ain't take that shit serious for real, like, cause I was locked up, so.
The Tyquan Tyler tragedy, when the Alliance hurt itself. No incident in the entire history of the STL Jaro FBG coalition carries more emotional weight than what happened on June 24, 2012. And the weight it carries comes not from an opposing side's action, but from the coalition's own. Tyquan Tyler was 13 years old. 13. An age at which the decisions that define a life are still being formed, at which the future remains genuinely open in ways that later close. He was in the orbit of the Jaro city community, connected to the blocks and to the people who shaped the conflict's geography through the simple proximity of growing up in the same space. Wayne and Nate were Jaro city members who were attempting to engage rivals on June 24th. The intended targets were connected to STL, a moment of internal friction within the broader alliance's geographic landscape. The kind of collision that happens when allied formations operating in close proximity encounter the tensions that proximity always generates. But the shot meant for someone else found Tyquan Tyler instead. Friendly fire, the most devastating category of loss that any crew can sustain. Not because the external threat killed someone, but because the crew's own action, its own people operating in its own name, produced the death of an innocent child connected to its own community. The specific quality of grief produced by friendly fire is different from the grief produced by an enemy's action. It contains guilt alongside loss. It contains the specific torture of knowing that the death was not imposed from outside, but generated from within. The people in the Jaro STL community who knew Tyquan Tyler, who had watched him grow up on those blocks, who carried his face and his personality and his 13-year-old presence as a known and loved reality in their daily lives. These people did not process June 24, 2012 simply as a community tragedy. They processed it as a wound that the conflict they were part of had inflicted on itself. Tyquan World was born from that wound. The crew designation that emerged in the aftermath of Tyquan Tyler's death was not an organizational decision made through deliberate planning. It was grief converted into identity. The community practice of naming something in tribute to the lost, transforming absence into presence, making it impossible to simply move forward without carrying the memory of what had been taken. Tyquan World represented the younger generation of the Jaro orbit, the people who were coming of age during the conflict's peak years, whose understanding of what the streets demanded was being formed in the specific crucible of this specific war. They carried Tyquan Tyler's name as both tribute and motivation, and they would eventually produce some of the most significant actions of the conflict's later phases. The person who became most associated with Tyquan World's operational impact in the years following its formation was TB, Terry Berry. His story belongs to a later section of this episode because his most consequential actions came in the conflict's later phase. But understanding where Tyquan World came from, the 13-year-old boy whose accidental death gave the crew its name and its emotional foundation, is essential context for understanding why Terry Berry did what he did when he did it. Tyquan World was not simply a crew, it was a memorial in motion. STL, EBT, the structure and the soldiers. The formation known as STL, EBT operated out of the St. Lawrence and Eberhart corridor of Chicago's South Side, a specific geographic stretch that produced some of the most operationally significant individuals in this entire conflict. Understanding what STL EBT was requires moving past the simple label and into the specific people who made it functional. The organizational character of STL EBT was a mix of GD and BD affiliated members, with GD elements predominating in how the crew understood and represented its identity. But like every crew in the drill era's decentralized landscape, the organizational affiliations provided cultural context rather than command structure. What made STL EBT operate as a coherent unit was the specific bonds between its members, the relationships forged through proximity, through shared experience, and through the accumulated weight of shared losses and shared actions. Boss Trell was one of the most significant figures in STL's operational history during the conflict's early and middle phases. His killing of Sheroyd, an O-Block figure whose death on February 16, 2012 sent a direct message to the O-Block side that the STL-EBT alliance was capable of reaching into O-Block's own orbit, demonstrated the level of operational initiative that characterized STL-EBT at its most effective. Boss Trell was not simply present in the conflict. He was active in it in the most direct possible way, targeting members of the opposing coalition with the specific kind of intelligence-informed action that requires detailed knowledge of the opposing crew's geography and movement patterns. The scoreboard video described Boss Trell as the man who made the whips dance, a designation that reflects a specific quality of operational effectiveness, the ability to move efficiently and decisively in conditions that would cause less capable individuals to hesitate or miscalculate. Within STL's internal culture, Boss Trell's consistent willingness to act, to answer the conflict's demands without requiring extended deliberation, gave him a form of standing that operated differently from the standing earned through organizational leadership.
Yeah, you doing shit. Hey, this nigga is not trying to get high off contact. He putting the bag up to his nose. What's wrong with him? Hey, this nigga is not trying to get high off contact. He putting the bag up to his nose. What's wrong with him? Nigga Diesel out this bitch.
That day, Jay, I ain't gonna lie. That used to be funny as hell, cause the clumsy shit he do though, like, but he was a real step though. And he did some clumsy shit that led up to his death though. Like, come on, man. You knew better, bro. Like, you supposed to bring some members with you and you supposed to deal what you did. Like, throw your gun, you supposed to bring with you. Hey, hell nah, I'm going by myself. You know what I'm saying? And he went and did what he did and came through the back. Caught his ass. That hurt my heart though, how folks went though. Like, so I'd be like, throw it out. I'd be like, man, I wonder if BT was alive, what would be going on, but that shit hell now, but like, yeah, BT was a real problem.
We ain't gonna be like them. We see them, it ain't no running. Langley, Marquette, y'all see.
don't know, fuck. And we so lacking. Back to old days, nigga playing ball on the monkey bar. Hey, Kitty, I bet you ain't dropping me now. I'ma jump your ass. I swear. Man, funny bud, Chris Real. Spit on that shit. Nigga. Fuck y'all too.
When Trail died, we was trying to kill some. I'm so fucking numb to this pain that I can't feel now. We don't give a fuck if 12 out there, we gon' still come.
Or musical prominence. His death on November 8, 2012, at the hands of T-Roy from O-Block, was the specific kind of targeted retaliatory action that the conflict's bilateral logic demanded. The community's record of Boss Trell's death, the naming of T-Roy as the person who answered Boss Trell's actions, demonstrates the degree to which each side was maintaining a specific named accounting of who owed what to whom. When T-Roy killed Boss Trell, he was not simply attacking STL EBT in general, he was settling a specific account. And when TB from Tyquan World eventually killed T-Roy on February 14, 2017, he was settling the specific account that T-Roy's killing of Boss Trell had opened. These chains of named obligation, specific person answering for specific person across years of conflict, are what give this war its specific character. It was not random, it had a logic, and that logic ran through the names of the dead. Somber Chicago aerials. Archival Street vistas near St. Lawrence. Archival Street vistas near Eberhard. Minimal motion graphics, clean lower thirds. Viewer discretion implied. In the shadow of STL EBT's structure, three names altered both the street ledger and the soundscape. KI, Wooski, FBG Duck. Their roles were different, their impacts measurable. KI, the name they never expected. KI emerged as a rare, documented female presence in STL EBT. Records attribute the September 2013 killing of Giandre J. Money Ward to KI operating with Lil BJ Money, described as the soul of the block. His death and a woman implicated, forced opponent, recalibration. KI was killed in 2014. Responsibility attributed to Big A and King Von, confirming Von's rising operational status. The ledger kept moving. Choices made met consequences that could not be undone. Wooski, the computer's remix and music as weapon. Placed in STL's orbit, Wooski's contributions were not about commercial polish, they were targeted messaging. August 25, 2010, killing of Reezy, YC City. October 2011, named alongside Brick in the killing of Patoon from O-Block. Then the music. Computer's remix as a catalog of call-outs aimed at 600 affiliated individuals. The track's circulation outlived immediate news cycles. FBG Duck, the voice on the other side. Duck's catalog carried beyond local circles while staying grounded in the neighborhood. Reflective beat. Dissolved to timeline slate, 2010, 2011, 2013, 2014, 2017. The names remain, so do the dates.